From the border of Arizona up to New York State, New York 23. Great folks up there. Carl Paladino. Carl, here's the question. A guy that's accomplished as much as you've accomplished in my life, has accumulated as much wealth that you've earned for hard work. Why, sir, would you want to go and serve in Congress?
Well, there's probably a touch of insanity to it. The way I was raised by my parents, we believe in truth, and I'm not seeing it in Washington, and I think it's terrible. I think I'm looking at a bunch of rhinos at best, unable personally, to confront the demons that the Democrats have presented. And I think that's disgusting. And
Carl, tell us about, hang on a second. I want you to tell this audience about yourself. Get a little background, because I would tell ladies and gentlemen, you think they hate Trump? You think the Republican establishment hates Trump? They almost hate Carl Paladino as much. So tell us, what is in your background of why the Republican establishment hates Carl Paladino, sir?
Well, I think it's relatively simple. I say what's on my mind. And, if that Donald Trump and I are good friends, I was there with him in 2013. And if anything, we learned from each other, and we believed in just saying what was on our minds and what was important, or what should be important to the people. Because, we're from the private sector. I came up as a young lawyer. Well, in 1971, I got out of the Army. I was in the service for 11 years, total active and reserve. And I had gone to law school, and I became an active lawyer and a developer over those initial years, and found that politics was anathema to me for a long time. And finally I said, somebody else isn't going to get up and stand there and say the right thing, so I'm going to have to do it. And I did things like, I ran for the school board. I served on the school board. They eventually threw me off for all the wrong reasons, and they couldn't take truth. And so I endured that and went on to be somewhat politically active. When I saw Donald Trump, I just gravitated to him because he was of the same nature. We had some long conversations, and we found that we had mutual feelings about a lot of the issues, and a lot of the lack of responsibility and accountability to the people of the state of New York that we were seeing in other weak politicians that were being elected to office for all the wrong reasons. Because the leadership of the parties, whether it be Republican or Democrat, were giving us candidates that we just we knew from the outset these people were not capable. They might be good talkers, they might be good walkers, but they certainly couldn't do the job for the people of the state of New York. And that's something that I think we have in common, and we witnessed, and it was sort of a motivating factor for me. Yes, I've been very successful in business. I'm very happy about that. And in a way, this is payback for me to pay back to the people of our community, for the support they gave me over the years, and whether it be in the private sector or politically. I'm a happy guy. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I have a great family, and I emulate people like us. See,
I tell you what, we're going to go to break, but here's the question I want to ask you and want to answer over the break. Why is a guy, because same thing with Trump, why is a guy that's happy, fulfilled, been successful, gives back to the community, has a great family? Today, politics is the politics of personal destruction. They have to come after you. So, Carl, take a think about that. We're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to come back in a moment with Carl Paladino in New York 23. He is an example of the type of person that President Trump has inspired. We're seeing him all over the country. This is why MAGA is ascendant, because people that have put so much into their lives and been successful are sitting there going, there's something bigger here. There's something more important here. And I see what President Trump has done. President Trump didn't need to do any of this. President Trump, had a great family, had these golf courses all become parts of the Open Rota and all the top tournaments here in the United States, a loving wife, great kids, wealth, revered by everybody. I thought about it today. He'd have been over at the British Open, he'd been at St. Andrews today, and he would have been idolized by what he had done with golf and helping golf. But that's not the case. He's attacked every moment of the day, 24/7. And so is Carl Paladino. The question is why? What do they represent that the establishment detests and fears? Next in the War Room. Carl Paladino. So, Carl, give me one or two reasons why they hate you almost as much as they hate Donald Trump, sir.
Because I'm not Washington. I can't be bought. I'm an independent soul. I'm willing to express my feelings. I don't have that. Well, I give up type of attitude. I go for the juggler when I'm arguing. And on day one, I have stated publicly that I would introduce a resolution to impeach Joe Biden. Why? Well, for me, the high crimes and misdemeanors start with Afghanistan. And when a president on his very first day in office can shut down the Canadian pipeline giving us oil and shut down leasing to American producers, of American lands and maritime rights, when he can do that without any hearings, without any discussion, in the interest of who? Big oil? Why? When our president can shut that down and now be begging on hand and knee the Saudi prince to increase their capacities on drilling, so as to
do the hardworking folks up there above New York 23, when they see a president of the United States prostrate himself in front of the royal house of Saud to beg them for oil, how does that sit with folks up there, particularly veterans, sir?
Not well. Not well at all. My father fought for this country. I served for my country. The people up here generally, that did serve, or whether they served or not, they can't stand what they're watching. That's why this man has a 30% approval rate. He doesn't belong there. He's not only incompetent, he's detached. He doesn't even know what the issues are. His handlers, he has hired terrible handlers, who can't do the job. They don't even recognize how far off the edge they are. They're off the reservation. And it's time for the American people to send that message clearly in this coming year's elections, I think it's going to be a big Republican year. I think they're going to send a message loud and clear to Joe Biden. Get out. Yep.
Did we lose Carl? Oh, okay.
No.
Hey, Carl, let me one more thing is that the Republican establishment is going to want everybody get along down here and get all the donors and all the lobbyists, everybody happy. We're going to have a big sweeping win, but they want to go back to business as usual. They're not going to want to hear from Carl Paladino up in New York 23 that they want to impeach Joe Biden. That's going to be off message. What's your message to leadership?
Same message I've been sending right along. I have nothing to do with them. I haven't asked for their support. I'm going to go there and I'm going to speak for the people. And whether they like it or not, these are the things that I talk about are the things that I'm going to do. And they can't intimidate me. I'm not intimidatable. They can't buy me. They can't in any way affect what I do and what I say.
What do you mean? What do you mean you can't? Hold on. What do you mean you can't be bought? President Trump couldn't be bought either because he came in with enormous wealth, but the little guy pitched in and supported him because he put him in the room, not in the room, not in the deal. Trump put him not just in the room, but they had the table. Why can't you be bought?
Can't be bought. I was taught. That's what I was taught when I was a kid. My father gave me those values, and I'm very happy about having those values and having the opportunity to go and speak for the little guy, and that's who I will speak for. Yes, it's there's different ways of buying people. You buy them through some kind of political pressure. You buy them through conditioning and experiences and whatever. And it's sad that people give up their values and surrender their values for all the wrong reasons. And it's just terrible. And I can't keep people up. You know?
Carl, how do people find out more about you personally, your story, and how do they find out about your campaign up in New York 23 to be the Republican representative there, sir?
They can go to carlpaladino.com. They can follow me on Facebook, Paladino for Congress, and they can follow me on Twitter at Carl Paladino New York. And I'll do my best. Thank you.
Carl, thank you very much. Looking forward to following this race. Like I said, you are a disruptor, just like Donald J. Trump. So I'm sure there's a lot of establishment types that are not happy about you being in this race. But thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
New York 23, that district, they don't come any better than the folks up in New York 23. That is the salt of the earth.